What's up, gamers, and welcome back to another Gamer Jooce episode. You know we always get straight on into the content, and it is no different today. The Nintendo Switch hasn't been around for too long. It was released in 2017, but we can safely say that the Switch has catered to some of the best games in those years. Let's look at the 10 titles that outshined the rest. Starting out at number 10, Sonic Mania Plus. The original Sonic was an absolute classic ever since it came out back in 1991, and the Mania Plus edition is just a revamped edition of that but on the Nintendo Switch. Truly a collector's edition, the Mania Plus was brought to us in 2018 with the compatibility on Switch. Sonic Mania was a 25th anniversary edition of the original game, and when it came out, the purists of the series were extremely thrilled. It's almost like the game was made for the Switch, and with the undoubtable quality that Nintendo brings every time, the game is a perfect example of a remastered game. Up next at number 9, Inside. Playdead's Inside is masterful in what it sets out to achieve. A platformer that has outdone itself in all aspects. Inside is both highly minimalist in its design and meticulously detailed in its visuals. The soundscape, background art, and animations are all a class above the rest. You'll require several playthroughs to truly understand every element of the game and the intriguing and haunting story that's told without any dialogue or voice acting is a marvel. Similar to other games like Limbo, Inside's level design is another fantastic element that really brings out the best in the game. It might not be as diverse or large in its stature like other Switch games, but it showcases a visceral and engaging 3-hour-long experience that will be difficult to forget for all players. At number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 was a fantastic game that came out in 2014. Now, the Deluxe Edition adds compatibility with the Switch, and we're so glad that it did because the game will always be an all-time favorite. It's a given to most Switch owners, but picking up this version of Mario Kart 8 still holds its relevance. It's not only the complete and current experience, but one that, transformed by the hardware of the Switch, adds a new dimension. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is another example of how remastered games should really be, and thanks to the nature of the Switch, it's worth every penny. Moving on to number 7, Bayonetta II.
The Legend of Aesir, a legend from the dawn of time. A struggle caused...
Now, for those of you who've played the first Bayonetta, you'll know exactly how engaging the game really is. All you've got to do now is think about how great the first game was, and multiply that by about 3. Bayonetta 2 is an action game perfected in every aspect. The game is simply genius, with amazing set pieces and a crazy story, but the real highlight of the game is its combat, and that simply thrives on letting the player figure out the best ways to tackle a fight without giving away too much. The extra modes and the added bonus of the first game add another dimension to the game. There's no better way to put this. This game is a masterpiece and a must-have on the Switch.
Time's almost up. Bayonetta. You better start creating miracles.
At number 6, Undertale. I had always questioned why people around me were hyping up Undertale until I played the game myself, and oh boy, do I have to tell you, this is one of the best games on the Switch. Developers Toby Fox took a super minimalist approach towards this RPG reminiscent of games from the 90s, and they did an incredible job. What else can I say? Undertale is spectacular, even all these years later. It's a game that deserves every bit of hype and praise that it receives. This easily is a game that the people who've enjoyed it will remember for a long, long time. I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to experience it on the Switch. Up next at number 5, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. This game is a visual masterpiece. In fact, the other games in the series are all falling in the same category of brilliance in my opinion. Although I forgot to mention that Ori and the Will of the Wisps drastically improves upon its predecessor, with stellar gameplay, visuals, of course, and incredible music. It showcases Moon Studios' incredible vision from the very beginning to its tear-jerking finale, and is a true testament to what the Switch is capable of. A true platforming extravaganza. Quite easily one of the best games of 2020, and this stunning sequel is not to be missed. Number 4, Celeste. The thing about Celeste is that you never really know what to expect when you play the game, and that's probably the beauty of it. After several hours of vigorous gameplay, my hands actually began to hurt from gripping the Switch, but I just couldn't stop playing. Celeste is a surprise masterpiece. Its 2D platforming is some of the best and toughest, with levels that are as challenging to figure out, whilst probably being some of the most satisfying. I every time felt both relief and curiosity as to what it would throw at me next. It's a rewarding experience and a game that should be played by all Switch owners. Moving on to number 3, Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. RPG fans absolutely love this game. The first Divinity game was very well received amongst RPG lovers, and its successor has taken the ball game to another level. This is quite easily one of the best RPGs around. From lonely landscapes to battles with gods themselves, Divinity Original Sin 2 is one of the most captivating role-playing games ever made in both its original and definitive avatars, with the latter proving even the most complicated role-players can be ported successfully to consoles, like the Switch. This meticulously designed fantasy world, along with brilliant tactical combat, make it one of the finest games of recent years, and will remain a classic amongst the RPG greats. At number 2, Super Mario Odyssey.
Here we go.
The Super Mario franchise has been pumping out classics ever since it was conceived way back in 1985. Super Mario Odyssey is just another testament to the brilliance that the franchise has offered over the years. Probably the best entry to the best platforming series, the game is so ridiculously huge it's like a theme park made of theme parks. It's a wonderful tribute to Super Mario 64, but it's no homage. The game is brilliant in its own set of ways. Super Mario Odyssey draws inspiration from the superb classic to top it and everything that has come after the original. Another must-play on the Switch.
There's no power up like dancing. You know that you're my superstar. No one else can take.
And finally at number 1, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is the big one. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has to be one of the greatest games ever made. Now, if you haven't heard of this game and you've constantly been hearing chatter about it from the gaming world around you, Well, then I hate to break it to you, but you've probably just missed out on the best Switch game there is. And the only reason everyone's talking about it is because the game is the best thing there is right now. The game takes mechanics from others in the industry and improves upon them whilst also introducing new ones that will blow your mind. You give yourself a facepalm in amazement as to why it hasn't been done before and why you haven't played this game any sooner. Breath of the Wild is development done right and is probably the best game you'll play. Period. What an incredible game. Alright everyone, that's gonna wrap up our list for today, and if you did watch this video all the way through, we appreciate you so much, and hope that you'll like this video and subscribe to our channel because we're always releasing more content. We'll see you in the next one.